take risks. Vault Talks. Women say what they feel and mean what
A moment there.
say.
I think it was a really long week
Leaving your
this week.
power, so much power. Yeah. Vault Talks, where women share.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen that may be tuning in? Yes, we are here. It's been a while. Sometimes you need to take a sabbatical to regroup, but we are back. Vault Talks Women Shares in the building, and we're so excited that you are here with us. There's tons of things you can be doing on a Thursday night or whenever you're catching that, and you're here with us, and we don't take that lightly. So I would like to say, let's go ahead and do what's new with the crew. Hey, y'all, what's going on?
Hey.
Yes, what's new?
What's new with the crew? Yes, what's going on? We've been on a little sabbatical, much needed for everybody to be able to catch up and really, come back to the fourth quarter. If you're an entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you, it just might be a countdown to the new year. But we are here and we're excited about what's going on. So, Kiana Del Rey, what's going on in your world, darling?
What's going on with Kiana Del Rey? So, okay, listen, y'all. This season has been amazing. So since the last Vault Talks episode, I have turned 29. And the 21st of May was my birthday, and I'm super excited about that. And this season has brought a lot of changes. It's so funny. It was almost like the retrograde came early for me. I just really was like brought and led to like release something that just really wasn't fitting in my life. And so I decided to just release things that weren't fitting in my life. And I decided to move forward with what is. And so I'm super duper excited to be hosting an event on October 22nd through the 24th called Divine Healing Initiation. And that's what's been new with me. So I've just been hooking up with people with chronic and mental illness and just supporting them and just reaching out and letting them know where they can come to a homegirl for support. So I'm 29, y'all. I'm going to be 29 forever. So go ahead and mark this date because I ain't never going to. And the last thing that's new with me is today wasn't the best day for Q, so I didn't eat anything. So I'm chewing this gum like it's steak, and I just need nobody to talk about it. I just need y'all to mind y'all's business, okay? So that's with me. So Sharika, girl, what's new with you?
I love it.
I'm hungry.
Oh my God. Okay, Anna, you're so funny.
She's the life, I'm telling you. What's going on with
Yes,
you, Sharika?
Okay, what's going on with me? Too many things. But essentially, it's the last quarter of the year, and my intention is to end it with a bang. So I'm currently optimizing my YouTube channel, working on releasing my book, which is supposed to go live on the 31st of October. So I'm super excited about that. Really, really looking forward to it. I'm working on another co-authored book with you, Miss Steele. Looking forward to that as well.
Yeah.
And what else am I doing? Yeah, working on my business, working on my speaking. I have a speaking gig coming up on Sunday. It's gonna be my second one professionally, like going out there and talking to people like I'm a big shot speaker and all. So that's gonna be my second one, and then from there I'm figuring out how to use Instagram properly in terms of putting out content and all of that stuff. So yeah, basically at the moment I'm working on my business, working on building that up, working on getting my book out there, and just working on ringing the new year in with a bang. Essentially, that's the idea.
Absolutely. Love it. So, for those of you who may not know, I am indeed the identity architect. And so I've been working on some things, really solidifying services for my publishing and consulting company, and that's been really fun. When you can really tap into who you are and really put it on paper with a description and then put a price to it, you're like, wow. Okay, all right. And so new clients have been flooding in, which has been really exciting as well, which is stretching my mind to really make sure that I can hold them all together, making sure that I can be present for each one because I'm getting some new projects in that are so dope and so really exciting. And my co-partner and I launched a business called Dream Scribers, and I just want to encourage people who are out there that you may have come up with a concept but it maybe hasn't come to fruition yet. Just hold on to it because it will manifest. And so my business partner and I, her name is Natalie, she resides here in the Chicagoland area, and we came together back in 2019 to create something, and we're like, it wasn't the time. And so in August, late August, actually, we decided to launch what we call Dream Scribers. And Dream Scribers is a program. It's a 12-week authorship program for the youth, ages 5 through 18, also incarcerated women. And so what we do is we help the youth as well as incarcerated women, which are both populations that really don't have a voice. And we help them to have a voice by helping them to become published authors. And the program is at no cost to them. So we have community partners that we're working with that are bringing in the donations to make it happen for the youth as well as the incarcerated women. And so it's been a journey. We're on week 5 of instruction, and it's been super exciting to see their faces when they're lighting up and they're understanding how to create content, they're understanding story development, they're understanding how to create characters. For those that we have little ones, and then we have 2 teens that are the 2 teens, they're so dope in what they do. They don't need as much as our time as the little ones, who are the creative ones who are, coming up with these storylines. And we're like, oh my gosh, I wish I was that creative when I was that young. So really just helping them to have a voice. And so it's a 12-week program. We're on week 5, and just really being able to provide coaching sessions for them and to also help their parents to, capture their creativity as an author. Because sometimes your kid comes to you and is like, hey, mommy, I want to do this. And you're like, shucks, I have no clue on how to do this. I don't know who to even turn to. And so we've been like that sigh of relief for a lot of parents out here. And so we're really excited as we are going to be expanding the program into 2022. We already have a wait list on both sides for the women who are incarcerated that want to be authors, as well as the kids who want to be authors as well. And so that's one of the projects. But literally so excited about what's actually taking place. We have our guest, but she's having some internet issues, but that's not a problem because you know why? Let me tell you, it's quiet. It's quote time. All right. So for tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about women survivors of domestic violence, as this month is typically one that honors women who are more of, celebrating women who are either breast cancer survivors or either domestic violence survivors. So October is always that month that's honored to them. And so if we can get our guest on, my sister on, it'd be amazing. But she's having internet issues. But if not, that's fine too. So women survivors of domestic violence is tonight's topic. But today's quote goes like this. Survivors are win-hers, and win-hers know how to thrive. Catch that. Survivors are win-hers, get it, and win-hers know how to thrive. What do you guys think, ladies? Who wants to dissect that? Ah!
I like it.
What are your thoughts
about it? Win-hers knows how to thrive. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's cute, but I'm going to be that person that says, if you are male or identify as non-binary and have been a survivor of domestic abuse and you're seeing this, I just want you to know that like you're a winner too, especially when you liberate yourself from that type of situation. So I'm all for the win hers, but I'm for the win them and the win hims too. And because there's more survivors than just women. And like when we think about domestic violence, we think about women being beaten, but the truth is that it happens to everybody.
But this is Vault Talks Women Share.
It is.
So this is all of, we recognize that you can be, anybody can be man, female,
Abused.
whatever. Yeah. But this is especially for the women. And I know men aren't really as great as rallying together to celebrate and acknowledge stuff like this like we are, because we're just built a little different. So I'm glad that you gave that clause for sure. And understanding that we're not like that around here.
I'm for all the winners. I'm just saying.
Hi, Adam.
Yeah, Adam, just saying.
Adam Worldwide. Okay, Adam Worldwide.
Hi, Adam.
Here. Oh, hey, Adam comes with some questions. I love that. Would you say most abusers are narcissists? Ooh-wee.
Wow, that's a heavy question.
Ooh, that's a heavy question.
I think the truth about abusers is that they are victims of abuse that never got any help for the abuse that they endured. So now their role in the abuse has changed. They're no longer the victim, they're the abuser now. So it is a very heavy question because
but there are some victims though.
When you start to inflict pain on other people, you're no longer a victim.
Ooh, come on, explain that.
When you start to inflict pain on other people, you're no longer a victim. You have to take accountability for the fact that you have trauma that has created a trauma response, that has created behavior that has now hurt other people.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at these messages that I'm getting that are people who are viewing the show.
And so
I like that, Kiana. I like that. But not a lot of people know that they're actually suffering from the trauma that they went through. So that's why I say they're victims too, because unless they become aware of the fact that what they're doing was caused by what they went through, then they are not necessarily acting from that awareness place. Do you see what I'm saying?
I hear you, but when I was a kid in high school, there was this other kid that literally used to beat my friend in the parking lot, in the hallway. Everybody saw it. Nobody could get this girl away from this dude. Everybody knew his dad was beating his mom at his house. He was a victim, sure, but he was also abusing somebody in front of everybody for everybody to see. So it's like, at some point, we have to take accountability for our own role in something. He was a victim of abuse, but then he turned around and became an abuser. At that point, you're no longer a victim because you've stepped over the threshold.
See, now that's interesting you say that, because I would, and this is what Vault Talks Women Share is all about. It's a platform. It's a safe place where women come together to learn more and share more about matters that pertain to their world, just in case someone didn't know that. But what I really want to hone in on is that I think that even when you are an abuser, you're still a victim. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of times where, prime example, some people abuse people and not understanding the core of why they are an abuser, which still makes them a victim. And I'll say that because with my situation, I am a victor, a survivor of domestic violence. And my ex, probably here recently within the past year or so, actually it was earlier this year, he came clean to me about what made him beat on me. And it was the fact that his sister used to beat on him and throw him in the closet as a little boy. And so he saw this abuse, and he still hasn't gotten over the fact of what happened in our relationship, which still technically makes him a victim, because he is not in a place of surviving to where he's thriving. He's stuck. He's stuck in a place of not understanding the whys and the hows. He can connect the whos, but he's not understanding why he even has the rage and the emotional baggage to even want to do this to other women. And he's expressed this to me, even in the relationships that he's in now, is that he's like, he still has those moments where he might raise up and he'll have to remember some of the things that he did to me in our relationship. And I had to kindly remind him of some of the things, because he didn't even recognize some of the things that he did until I was actually, do you remember this? And he was like, whoa, I don't even remember that. And as I was telling him some of the things, he was able to say, you know what, I had a conversation with his abuser as a child, and was able to say, oh, he was like apologizing heavily. And this happened back in 2002, somewhere way far back. We're almost 20 years up, and he's still emotionally not over the fact that he is stuck in this place, which I say that makes him a victim.
It does. I agree. It does.
I guess for me, I don't believe in victims unless you've like been, I guess for me, my terminology about victim is different, because being a victim can really lead you into a narcissistic place. And that's when narcissistic personality disorder can really start to fester, because you're always like, oh, like I'm the victim, like everyone else is the problem. I have no role in this. Like it's happening to me. But when you cross that threshold, like you said, Takara, like being a victor, being a survivor, right? So I think of people like what you're saying, I think of him as a survivor of abuse. I don't think of him as necessarily a victim. And what's really cool about him is he's taking accountability for what he's done and what he's been through. So he really is a victor. So I guess for me, the whole, what I said was based off of my particular views around victim mentality and how to move forward from it. So I'm not saying that people who have endured abuse aren't valid.
I'm loving Adam.
Right. Like, so all abuse, point blank, all abusers have been abused, period.
I don't know.
Hurt people hurt people.
Saw it somewhere.
Hurt people, but I don't think they all have been abused. They have maybe witnessed abuse, which has made them curious about abusing, but not every abuser has been abused.
But then, well, I have no facts to go off as it relates to that. I just know that hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
And I know that when people are, when you've gone through a certain thing, if no one brought it to your awareness that what you're going through is because of what you're doing now is because of what you're going through, you're
Right.
still in that place where you are going through that thing, whatever it was. So that's just the fact of it. So it may not be that they were physically abused, it could be an emotional or another way, and this is their way of expressing it, because in truth and in fact, it's really an expression of whatever they went through that hasn't healed. It's an expression. That's how they are releasing it. So in any case, it's related.
Now
Yeah, I will say that all of the experts say that most people who inflict abuse have endured abuse themselves. Like from what little literature that is out there that is research based, like it's backed. Like most abusers were once abused themselves.
And let's be clear on this. This is a conversation. None of us are doctors, okay?
Right.
None of us are professionals in this area, okay? We're talking about things that have actually happened to us, or people that we know closely that we can speak on, that we have witnessed, okay? So these questions, Adam, they may not be all, factual according to doctors and research and things of that nature, but they're definitely things that we've either seen or witnessed. So I definitely want to give that disclaimer out here, because this show is one where we share about our experiences, hoping to be informational so people can actually overcome some of the things that they're dealing with, or bring exposure to the things that they're dealing with the hopes that something that they've heard on this show gives them the hope and inspiration to be the better them. Okay, so let's make that clear before I click on this next question that Adam has. And then what we're seeing right now is that our guest is having some technical difficulties with her internet, and so she may not be able to join us tonight. So we may have to postpone the show, like the real show, the way that we wanted to do this. But we're definitely can have this conversation until we see if she's able to come on. Okay. So is PTSD normal after abuse? I would say yes.
Yep.
I would say absolutely yes. I know for me, speaking from what I went through, I didn't tell a lot of people, and there was a lot of things that I went through, and I had no clue what it was until later on. And there's still moments where I'm triggered by the things that my ex did that still have me in that place. I wouldn't category it all as PTSD, but there's definitely triggers. But I'm working through them to be a better me. But yeah, I know Kiana and you can go and flow with this, so I'm gonna let you go.
Yes, so I am a certified trauma support specialist, and I actually do work with RAINN statistics all the time. So like I can give you the dirty, nasty friggin' facts, the numbers about abuse. And I'll be honest with you, this is my life. So what's the truth about this is that your abuser is probably suffering from PTSD, and the abuse that you may be enduring could even be how they are reacting to their own trauma response. I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying that you play a role. I'm saying that the abuse cycle is so deep that when someone has learned that this is how I respond to this trigger, this flag of danger, this is an okay response. So PTSD is totally normal after abuse. I will share. Is it okay if I share?
It's a safe place. Vault Talks Women Share, baby.
So, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm going to tell it all. I love you, girl. I'm a survivor. I'm an adult survivor of child abuse. I love my mom to death. She did not have all her trauma healed when she became a mom. That's fine. I was a child victim, right? But when I became an adult, and I became a binge drinker and an alcoholic and a nasty person and a toxic person and a backstabber. And that was on me. That was, victim who? That was on me.
Wow.
That was me. Okay, because that was me that was adult Kiana not dealing with her crap.
Yeah.
Not getting past it and putting it out on other people, making other people feel bad. I'm going to tell it all right here on the live. Okay.
This is
April of 2020. And I don't care who sees this on the timeline wants to talk about me. I really don't care. April 2020, my husband left me and accused me of being his abuser. Now, do I think that was gaslighting? Yes. Do I think I am his abuser? That's a tough question because that's his truth. At least that's the truth that he put out there. Yeah. That's the truth. I have dissected this in therapy. My therapist has told me he does not feel like that. But the truth is, when I look at myself, the truth is that I have been controlled in relationships, and I tried to control that one. I have been in the result of toxicity, and I've inflicted that on him. I grew up with a drunk as a mother. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm telling it all right here on the Vault Talks. I'm sorry, girl. I'm not hiding behind toxic shame anymore. And I became a drunk for somebody to deal with. Now, he had his own issues. There was a lot there. He would break my stuff. I'm sorry. I'm telling it all. I'm telling it all out here.
Don't be sorry.
It's your abuser when you abuse them, and then you couldn't even tell them that you wanted a divorce, because I never hit this man, okay? I never cursed at him. Now, I had some stuff going on. I did need some help. I had some suicidal stuff going on. I needed some help. Like, I really did. Like, I was bogged down with, like, anxiety, and I was a mess. But the truth was that I had PTSD, and I was walking around with CPTSD and not the right treatment, no therapy, and I was trying like hell to just make it through life. So I started having flashbacks to a sexual trauma when I was 26 years old. Like it was really impeding on my marriage. Like whatever, he left. I'm not even mad. Like, I'm glad. I hope that he's happy now. I hope that he's peaceful now. But what it taught me was that I have to face what happened to me. I
Yeah.
can no longer be a victim. I have to take accountability for what has happened to me and how I have inflicted pain on others if I'm ever going to get past it. And so I want to sit here and say, oh, abusers are victims too. Like if I'm my husband's abuser, yes, it's true. I was a victim when I was a child. But the moment I stepped into 18 years old and started to make my own choices, the moment I started to co-create, let's talk realness. I'm going to keep it real with you. If you are 18 years old and you've got an abusive partner, I'm sorry. I'm going to say it right here, right now. Y'all can unfollow me or whatever. You are choosing to co-create an abusive situation. I'm not here to victim blame. But when you say, okay, the only love that I know because mommy was abused by daddy, so I'm going to go be in this relationship where I go get treated the same. And then I'm going to break up with him and talk about how bad he was to just go get in the same kind of relationship again. And I'm going to break up with him to just talk about how bad he was to just go do that to somebody else.
Wow.
It's not, there's a common denominator here and it
Right.
ain't. It ain't everybody else.
That's good.
It's you.
Yeah.
So you have to heal that past trauma so that you're not seeking abusive love in relationships, so that you can see, oh, I don't deserve that. That's actually toxic behavior that I don't want to participate in. And I need to nip it in the bud right here, right now.
That's good.
This isn't for me.
Yeah.
This isn't for me. And so I just put it all out there, Adam. I'm sorry. I just put it all out.
There's nothing to be sorry about, because let me show you what he says. He's thanking us for being honest and transparent tonight. And that's what Vault Talks Women Share is all about. Being able to be real, transparent, so somebody else can get the healing that they need. We never know who's going to enter our live. We never know. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. You never know who's going to come and jump on because there's a topic that is interesting them, because there's something deep down in them that is unresolved and they need answers for. And so, I really want to say, just to Sharika and Kiana, thank you so much for being a part of this movement, because it's not just the talk show that we do weekly. It's a movement. We're helping people to get, free from what it is that they're going through. If they may be out here, all over the place on Facebook or Instagram or on Twitter or whatever, saying this is my problem or not. Or they may be as someone who, is watching this, who's like, oh my God, somebody, they're talking about me, but I don't want to put myself out here. Guess what? Whoever you are, if you don't want to put yourself out here, you don't have to. We're here for you. We're holding space for you to be able to help you get from your now to your next and be able to help you shift. Because the thing is that we all have a purpose. We all have a destiny, but we all, if we're being honest and transparent, there's times when we hit a barrier. There's times when we hit a wall and there's nobody to come to our rescue, and it's tough. And if sometimes we hit this wall, we want to fall down and lay there. Just cover me up, give me a pillow, let me be comfortable here, because I know one thing about seasons, they change. But we're here to help you so you're not going around the mountain, you're actually going up the mountain, because there's a lot of times when people will stay stuck in a season because it's comfortable. We're not here to do that. On Vault Talks Women Share, it's all about transparency. It's all about being apologetically ourselves and holding on to what we know to be true based on what we've endured in our own lives. So Adam said, don't be sorry. I love Adam, make sure you subscribe to Vault Talks Women Share on YouTube so you can be a part of our movement. We're thankful that you are here and being vulnerable to even express how you're feeling and what you're going through tonight with us. And so one thing I know about this platform, God, the universe, whoever you may serve, for me, it's God, is very intentional about people that watch this show. We don't know you, but we love you the same, and we are here for you. Definitely. If we can hold space for you on this platform to be able to talk about matters that pertain to the world of women, but also men, so we're thankful for you being here. And I love the fact that you felt comfortable, asking us these questions. And we pray for you too, Adam, because we know that being hurt it's a journey to get healed, and it's a process. And sometimes it's like you think that you're healed, and then boom, you run into something and you're like, oh dang, here we go through this again. You're like, shoot, you want to throw a mini tantrum because you're like, what? I thought. And then here we are back in the same place, and it can be frustrating. But no, here at Vault Talks Women Share, no, like seriously, all of us have a heart for people. All of us have a heart for healing. You got the mind reset strategist. You got Kiana, who's a healer. You got me, who's all about identity. So for anybody, not just Adam watching this, for those of you who may be watching this in 2027, 2037, whenever, just know that this message is very intentional for you to be able to help you shift as well. So
it's so funny because everyone cringed when I made that comment about the thems and the hymns, but I just had a feeling that there was a dude out there that like needed to heal. Like I was like, and I just wanted to hold space for the male survivors of domestic violence. Like, I just wanted to hold that space. So just know that I was trying to be disrespectful. I just had
no. I've known you. Listen, I've known you short enough time, but long enough time to know when you say something. Typically, there's a reason behind it. I might not know it at first, but you're gonna share it later on. So. One of the reasons, go ahead, Sharika, because you've been quiet.
Oh yeah, so I was saying that conversations like this are important because many people think it's normal to be in an abusive relationship and to be moving from one abusive relationship to the next, to the next, to the next. And people think it's normal because they see everybody in their environment having the same kind of crap going on, going through the same kind of crap, some of them for generations on end. And they just think it's okay. So they keep going through the same cycle. So grandma went through the same thing, mom went through the same thing, dad went through the same thing. And it keeps happening and happening. And the child comes and the child gets abused. And the child goes in another abusive relationship. And you have a family line of songs. And it just goes on and it goes on. So conversations like this allows people to see that this is not okay. This is not okay. And this is not acceptable. And that you have a choice. Kiana said it. You can choose. You can choose to walk away. You can choose healing because healing is possible, right? But you have to take control of the situation. It's funny. My father was abusive to my mother, right? And my mom had a friend. No, he was abusive. He had a house. There was, in relationships like that, there's always some kind of security in terms of the home and having kids together, family together, and all that stuff. My mom had a friend, and when my mom left my dad, her friend's remark was, especially because my mom was struggling, she said, she shouldn't have left him. But he was abusive. He was abusive physically, and he was abusive emotionally with his words. Because as they say in Jamaica, in his tongue not join church, his tongue he will say whatever comes to his mouth, right? He calls you any kind of names. And he was abusive to me as well. He would hit me for every single thing. And when my mom left him, my friend said he shouldn't have left. And we find that a lot of people are in this kind of situation where they have people who see them suffering in this kind of situation, yet they encourage them to stay there, right? And they say, you have food and you have water and you have a roof over your head, your bills are paid, and he's just hitting you. That's nothing. It is something. It's not supposed to happen, right? It's not supposed to happen, and it's not normal. It's not normal. It should not be accepted. So when you are able, as soon as you see this video and you can, just step away. Because you don't have to be there. You don't have to be there.
And that's hard to do. It's hard to do. Yet I think that if you have the right people around you, it makes it easier. But if you're in an abusive relationship, sometimes it can be hard for you to figure out who to trust because you're being threatened. Like, if you tell such and such, I'm going to do such and such. And you don't know if they are serious or if it's just, talk. And so I think that's one of the things that can be really difficult about, stepping out from something like that and, really wanting to, like for me, I had the desire to, like I was ready, but there was things once I got tired of it and realized that I didn't have to take it. But until then, it was tough. You don't know who to trust and things like that. So with that being said, while we have her, we don't want to lose our guest again. So again, for those of you who may be just joining us,
Yay, she's here.
women survivors of domestic violence, and Michaela is here to talk with us, and she's also a co-author in a book project we did called My Battle Scars: Sing Melodies of Victory, and it was a book where domestic violence survivors, and we had one breast cancer survivor, tell their stories. So everybody meet Michaela. Hey, Michaela. Are you there?
Hi.
Uh-oh.
Hi. Am I
How
in?
are you?
Can you see me?
You are in.
Hi, Michaela.
I'm
How are
good.
you?
How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
We're doing good. We're doing good. It's a
Good.
little yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Can you hear us? Oh no. Kiana,
Yeah,
your face is priceless right now.
Lloyd.
I just feel like I'm here to make facial expressions.
Can we hear you, Kayla? Try saying something.
Okay.
We
She's
can hear
up for
you.
me. Is she still there?
Yeah, she's here.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Testing.
Yes, we can hear you.
1,
Testing.
2.
Yeah,
1,
I can
2,
hear her.
3. Testing.
Yes. Okay. So you might have to turn your video off. Turning your video off might make your audio come through more clear. Sometimes that does work.
Yeah, that does work sometimes.
Do you know how to turn your video off? Okay. Now say something.
Okay. Try. Is this
No.
maybe? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I thought I did.
No,
Not?
keep talking.
Okay. Okay.
No, we
I'm
can hear
sorry,
you.
guys. I'm just really
Okay.
annoyed right now. Okay. So
Yeah,
I have
it's weird. It's
been
not
just
you.
working on me. It's not.
Very cool. No, we can hear you. I know, right?
Okay.
It gets funny after
There must
a
be
while.
a delay.
We can hear you. Yes, there might be a delay. Gotta love the internet. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, I don't even know what you guys are talking about tonight.
We're talking about women survivors of domestic violence.
Yes. Okay. Well, all I can say is thank God that's over. No, but honestly, I learned a lot.
And that's one of the questions
Everything
that
happens
I had.
for a reason, you know?
Yes. So one of the questions that I had was actually share some of the thoughts that you experienced as one who's been through domestic violence. Like, what were some of the things that you can share now that you're out of it?
My thoughts were, honestly, I can't really remember exactly some of the thoughts that I was going through, and I wasn't really myself. So since I was not myself, I was not in that feeling mode, unfortunately. I kind of disassociated myself from myself, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, but thinking back, I do do remember thinking like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I, why am I staying? And the only answer that I had for me was because of my kids. I didn't grow up with a 2-family household, and I really want my kids. And unfortunately, I was running towards that so much that I actually ran smack into what I didn't want. So what I've learned that sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to do what's good for you, regardless of what you're thinking or as what others may want or what others may need.
Wow.
Because I was under the impression that my kids needed a 2-family household. You know what I mean? That's what I was under that impression.
Right.
But did they need it in that capacity? And that wasn't healthy. So it really made me just look at loving me first and doing what makes me feel good, because that is what is going to roll over and spill over onto everybody else. Because if mama ain't feeling good, it's gonna feel good.
Wow.
But it took me to go through it to understand that.
Right. Wow. You said a mouthful, Michaela, and one of the ladies that's watching basically was like, pay attention to the warning signs. And that's a whole nother topic even there, just the warning signs, because we can see things, but then we don't want to believe things, or we can see things and still want what we want, and we can see things and still be like, oh, well, no, they'll change. And we can see things and be like, well, no, it's not them, it's me. Let me change me, or we'll say, or you can see these things. You're like, oh, let me give it a little more time. It'll get better. Or we'll see these things as women and be like, well, I got the S on my chest. I can make it better, period. And a lot of times, the warning signs, they're there. However, I'm with you, Michaela. There's just some things we have to live through to get a powerful lesson. So now we're positioned to be able to help others. As you're calling yourself the growth spurt, I'm getting it as you are the growth expert, to being able to help people to grow and shift. And I will say, going through situations that may not make any sense, and I mean any sense, when you're going through them, makes a whole lot of sense, and some dollars too, okay, over there later on after you've gone through it. And so what I was sharing with the audience, was that your chapter is in a co-author book project called My Battle Scars Now Sing Melodies of Victory, where you're talking about your experience being one who has dealt with domestic violence and now being on the other side of that. And so can you share with our audience a little bit of what you talked about in your chapter?
Yes, I just gave a really quick synapse of the 10-year relationship that I had with the father of my kids. I met him when I was very young, during a time where I didn't know myself. And here I call myself getting into a relationship with not only an older man, but thinking I'm grown and I know what I'm doing. So it just takes you on that journey from when I met him to when I decided that I can no longer live this way. And those 10 years, yeah, there was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of good things. But one of the things that I will say is that I didn't know who I was And one day I just looked in the mirror and I'm like, this is not the Michaela I know. Who is this?
Woo!
And something kind of snapped.
Yes.
So yeah, the book definitely tells you, you know, like the 10-year relationship, you know, my goal is to, you know, write a tell-all book as well about my life, because there's some juicy stuff. And it'll kind of like I would love to tie it into the whole generational trauma thing. You know what I mean? Because we're all experiencing it, whether we know it and believe it or not. So, you know, and obviously, since, you know, my mom did her book, you know, it'll be perfect to say, okay, so this is the outcome of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Listen, you said a whole lot, and let me share with you what we got in the comments here. There's one young lady. Hi, Crystal. Mwah. One of my clients and sisters. I tried to stay this last time for the kids, but I almost lost me. And one of my other clients and mentors, he said, it's not as bad as I think. That's something that we tell ourselves when we're going through it. Like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not, when it's hell and some. And we're like, oh no, it's okay. And, you know, but I love what you shared, because there's a lot of people out here who can relate to the fact of staying in a relationship because of the wrong reasons, but thinking they're the right reasons, and then just having that moment where, you know, you're what you have awakened to yourself. And to me, I feel like it's that moment where your mind, body, soul is saying enough is enough. Let me help you. You're not seeing it. Let me help you. And just get that aha moment, and you be like, hold on, something. 2 + 2 = 5,495. 2 + 2 = 4. Like, what's going on? What's the problem? This equation is way off. You know, so you know, I'm just me. I'm sorry. Sorry, but not sorry. But no, I think that's really good. What I loved about your,
you know, somebody said something about the.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
someone had mentioned something about warning signs.
Yes.
And I did mention that in the book. And the thing about it is, when you're going through it, you don't realize it's a warning sign.
No, you don't.
Things are just happening. It's not until afterwards, when you start to reflect, you'd be like, dang, that was another warning sign. So yeah, when you in the trenches, you just going through it. You're not really looking at that. You're in survival mode, unfortunately. And that part of that knowing and feeling, you're disassociated from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see them now.
Yeah. And that's interesting you say that, because there's times when you are numb. And one of the ladies, she said, it's not healthy for the kids, which, you know, we get that after the fact, right? She said, I sleep good and peaceful now. and
all right. Me too.
One of the other comments said, anger made me run. I was so upset I just couldn't. I couldn't cuss hard enough, she said.
You know, it's so weird, because like I remember my mom would say things about like my dad hurting her, and I would never like believe her. I'd be like, that didn't happen, because like my dad is beautiful and he would never. But then like it dawned on me that like when my parents were together, I used to have to jump in bed with my sister a lot because our parents were screaming and it was scary. But like I blocked that part out, right? Because my dad was just so wonderful. But like there were times where like we would be so scared we would just hold on to each other because our parents were like screaming and fighting and like it was scary. So it's like, no, it's not good for anybody's kids. Like just leave, girl, because your kids are probably like, what is going on? And then it just gets them in this place where they're constantly living in chaos and they're afraid and their stress response is always alerted because stress is always happening. And if you think that you're hiding your stress from your kids, you are not. That's a lie. Rebuke that lie. Just go ahead and release it. Release that stressor from your life because holding on for the kids is not helping nobody.
Yeah, I have a question for Mikhail. How aware are the kids of what was going on? Are they aware? Were they aware? Did they express any emotional distress from what was going on with you and your partner?
At the time, they were like, let's see, 3 and 5. I mean, they were young.
Okay,
So,
right.
of course, I'm thinking they wasn't aware. But then after I started to do some more research and I learned that, the first 7 years in a child's life is the most important years because that is where we get all of our subconscious, right. And then I started to be like, well,
Yeah.
dang,
Mm-hmm.
In the story I just
Yeah.
told,
I didn't jack my kids up.
I was 3
Yeah,
years old.
definitely.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, are they aware
So
of the intricacies of what's going on? Maybe not, but do they know something's bad's happening? Probably. You know?
yeah, but then
Definitely.
do you do counseling with them? What do you do to ensure that this doesn't become a cycle for them? Because we know that it's there somewhere in subconscious, it's just probably not expressing it at this moment. So do you get counseling for them? Do you talk to them about it? What happens now that you are aware that it probably had an impact on them?
Oh, yeah. We have had several conversations, even like after the breakup, because the breakup, that's when stuff really started to get crazy. Because then I had restraining orders on him and we had court and
Wow.
all this stuff. So, unfortunately, he was telling the kids so many things that, first of all, kids should not know at that age or any age.
Right.
And then,
Mhm.
secondly, they weren't even true statements. So I constantly had to like reinforce that because they would come home and say, well, daddy said that. And I'd be like,
Ooh.
okay, Wusa, no, the truth is, so I and it was so funny because my mom, I remember her being angry at me because I would still allow them to see their dad. I wouldn't put any stipulations on that relationship. And I remember how angry she was with me. And I just kept saying, that's still their dad. Regardless of what he did to me,
Yeah.
he never did that to them. And I had to separate that. But now that
Wow.
the kids are older, my daughter tells me all the time, I see why you left dad. Like, he crazy. So all of that time when I never said anything bad about him to them, it basically he made his own grave. Let's just say that. I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to do anything. He did it. He did it himself. He did it himself. And I was just there to talk to the kids and give them that, that extra guidance and then that other side of the story because there's always two sides to every story. And I really had to like answer some tough questions at times, but I'm a firm believer that
Yeah.
if a child asks, you
Yes.
shall answer. Because if you don't answer it,
Yeah.
somebody else is going to.
Somebody else gonna do it.
So at least I can create that.
And they probably
Yep,
won't give an answer that's beneficial to the child either. So yeah.
exactly.
Wow.
It was
You know,
rough. I ain't gonna lie. It was rough.
and you know what's interesting is that you're saying a whole lot that resonates with me in my childhood. My dad wasn't around due to his choices. And my mom just really did a really great job of trying to shield me from some of that stuff. But even just in the crossfire, there's things that you hear as a child. And you're like, what's that all about? But you don't know how to, say, Mom, what's that all about? Not like right then and there. You kind of like, okay, Nugget, let's put that in the back of the filing cabinet, and just you just start to do that. And once you get to an age where you're like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna step out on some bold faith and have this conversation of these little things that I've been seeing, as a kid, and be like, well, Mom, I'm 10 now, but remember when and I think that sometimes helps the parent too, but there's a lot of things that we've seen that sometimes we don't even talk about, but we've seen, and then it comes up later on in our adult life, going back to what we've seen. But we're going to pause for the cause really quick. We got a commercial break, or I'm going to be in trouble with BBC TV, and I don't want to be in trouble with nobody. Here we go. Boom. Hold on. We'll be back.
Your time is very precious. And wouldn't you agree that it's time to stop wasting it? Does this sound familiar? Are you not fulfilling your potential? Are you not reaching your goals? Are you not even setting your goals? Are you feeling unmotivated, feeling stuck, and you need accountability in your life? Searching for the right answer, the right solution can be difficult and lonely. You get vague information. You're pointed in the wrong direction. You receive bad advice. No one wants that. And there must be a better way. Well, there is. At All About One Leadership Consulting, we can help you. At All About One, we help individuals and organizations achieve their goals, get unstuck, and reach their potential. Contact us today.
So we're back. I have to do commercial breaks. And sometimes we get into these juicy conversations. I'll be like, oh, I didn't commercial break at all whatsoever. So wrapping up our show in the next 5 minutes or so. First of all, Michaela, I thank you for coming and talking on our platform, as it's one where, people need to hear other people's stories, just so they know that they're not alone. Even if it's something that they're not dealing with directly, they might have a close friend of theirs that's dealing with this. And so just even to be like a support and to be, one full of wisdom. And I believe that this outlet, allows people to gain wisdom for their own toolboxes of life. And so I'm thankful that you pressed your way through all your internet connection issues to be on the platform, because people needed to hear your story, and people need to continue to hear your story, because as women, we take on a lot of things and we look glamorous doing it. But internally, what are we doing to ourselves? What are we doing to the people around us? And so, I just want to thank you for sharing. And then Kiana, what you got? Because I know you got something going on over there. I know you.
I just wanted to say thank you, Michaela, for your share and just really speaking on why it's important to leave situations. I love that you spoke about that. I shared a little bit about when I was in high school. I had a friend who was in an abusive relationship when we were like kids, and like the entire school knew. And it was really hard for her to get away from her abuser. Like her parents ended up having to step in and make her change schools. Like they removed her from school. They took her cell phone. They had to move. Like it was like really serious. So just get out, ladies or men or thems, whatever. Like if you're in a situation that you feel like is abusive, just get out. And so, and that's all for me.
Sharika? All the way from Jamaica. All the way from Jamaica. Kingston, Jamaica. I have to put it in there. Sorry.
You can't help it, can you?
No, I can't. You know I love saying it.
I know. And like, Michaela, it was really awesome having you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I must say you touched on so many really, really good points. But somebody mentioned warning signs. And as you said, you don't see the warning signs until you're able to look back and say, oh yeah, that was happening. How come I didn't see that? But I'm going to say this. If you're feeling like you're smaller than you actually are, or if you're feeling like you're less than you are, if you're feeling hurt in at all, if you're feeling like you don't belong in it all, if any feeling that causes you to feel less than happy, less than joyful, less than peaceful, take that as a warning sign and then question it from there. Find out why you're feeling this way, what's causing it. And remember that, as Michaela says, children, their personality becomes set at 8 years old. And everything that they consume up to that point is what helps to mold that personality. So whatever kind of life you're living prior to that point, so you're living it for your kids. You're living it for yourself, but for your kids too, because that's where they're learning from. That's where they're getting everything from. And if you don't want them to end up in a situation that you're in, you're going to want to get out, and don't think you're serving them by staying in that situation, because then you're teaching them that it's okay for somebody to hurt me, or it's okay for me to hurt somebody else. And you don't want to do that. So don't say I'm staying for the kids. Say I'm getting out for the kids. I'm getting out for me, but I'm getting out for the kids too. Because the sooner you get out is the sooner you show them that, okay, I can stand up for myself. I can walk away from a situation that does not serve me, and I can be strong, I can be brave, I can be bold, I can make the necessary steps that I need to make. So Michaela, thank you once more so much for coming on the show. We enjoyed the story. Well, I did enjoy your share, and you made so many good points. So thank you for coming again.
Woo! Shakara, I just want to say really quickly before we jump off here, if your thought is, oh, so-and-so is kind of bad, but I love him, he does this, he does that, you are trauma bonded. You're not in a good situation. Girlfriend, get out. Thank you.
Ooh, or boyfriend, get out, right?
Or boyfriend, get out, or whatever, friend, get out. Friend, get out.
Just leave. Right? Go. Bye-bye. Deuces. To the left, right? Get your boxes to the left, and Beyonce say something like that. Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
But Kayla, do you have any closing words? I'm gonna let you close out our show.
Oh, thank you, ladies, for all the beautiful things you ladies said. I just want to close out by saying, love yourself first. You have to fill up your cup before you can fill up anybody else's cup. Love on you first, because that's important.
And pour from an empty cup. Yeah.
Woo! And with that said,
hey, Tamara, we should discuss the topic. What exactly is self-love? How many people knows what that is? We should talk about that sometime.
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna have to, since you just put it out there. I mean, I'm just saying. We don't have to talk about that.
So not other people know what that even means.
Indeed.
For years, I didn't.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I'll be 40 in January, and it took me a minute to understand what loving me really looks like, feels like, sounds like, is. And a lot of that is not giving a damn what people say. That's love, baby, all day long and twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that too.
Yes, I just thought of that TikTok that was like, my first name is Barry and my last name is Unbothered.
And on that note, good night,
Women
everybody.
share to be bold and take risks. The talks, women say what they feel and mean what
A moment there.
I think it was a really long
Leaving
week
your
this week.
power, so much power. Yeah. The talks where women